serving up a dose of wisdom and humor with a dash of radiance. Welcome to Biscuits and Sunshine with your hosts, Callie and Landra.
Hey y'all, pull up a seat at our table for your next serving of Biscuits and Sunshine. I'm Callie.
And I'm Landra. We're delighted you're here with us. We're recording this from Distance Sport Audio Studios in Athens, Greece. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 2. Fame, let's go.
One of the things I love about our seasonal check-in episodes is that they are an in-the-moment, real-life example of mindfulness in action. We stop to connect with each other about whatever's happening right now. This day, this season, we're aware of what's happening around us, and we're paying attention to how that impacts what's happening within us.
Oh, Callie, I love that you brought up mindfulness. That's so true. Like it's spring of all the seasons, like it so much is blossoming, it's renewal, it's rebirth. And so this paying attention to what's happening around us and also inside of us, because there is this sort of interconnectedness with nature, what we do to ourselves, we do to our earth. And we are close to Earth Day. So I know that's top of mind for a lot of folks.
I like to think of these episodes as little seasonal treats. Seeds that we're planting just, to bring the earth and the growing metaphors full circle. Sometimes I wonder if these seasonal unscripted episodes are going to be as good. But now that we've done this for a whole year, there's such magic that happens when you and I just sit down face to face and have conversation. It's the genesis of how Biscuits and Sunshine came to be. And I think it's great that we reconnect with that beginning every season.
I agree. And, like a lot of conversations, it can feel like, oh, I've already said this. But really, in this new time, in this new place, have you said that? Or maybe is there something new that you're noticing that you didn't notice before? So there's just something nice about these rituals, these milestones, these markers of time, really. Because we're moving so fast. And when I'm like, oh my gosh, a whole year has passed, it's nice to go back and to have 4 times a year that we stop and we reflect. And yeah, it's really cool to kind of notice the seasonality. Otherwise, things just go by. Life goes by just so fast and it could be a blur. And so it's really nice to stop and to kind of ground ourselves, to kind of plant those seeds and to just notice what's right here, the richness of the moment. So Callie, I remember one of your words this year is to feed you in many ways and nourish yourself. What is currently feeding you in this spring season in 2025?
I have had such an incredible past month or so because my parents have been here. And spending time with them is always enjoyable, but one of the things I love is the fact that we've really become friends. I've had such an opportunity as an adult to become friends with my parents, and we've traveled, we've been to Morocco, we've been to Barcelona, and we have more trips planned in the coming weeks. It's just fun. And so I feel like being with them and being able to connect with them and spend time with them is really feeding me in this season of growth.
It's beautiful. I can see it all over your face and in your body language. It's just such a gift, really, to have our parents, with us and you physically here and you guys exploring Europe together, not just Greece. What a delight.
It really is. We sometimes forget when we grow up and get out into the world and sort of create our own lives that there is always just a kid within us. And so being able to spend time with your parents and that time isn't dictated by constraints of work or I come in on a Friday and leave on a Sunday. We just have space. It's one of the biggest blessings of my life.
And not just the space, but it's also the newness, the exploration of the world together, the adventure. Yeah, that's really unique.
Yeah, we have a good time together. What's feeding you currently, Landra?
I mean, no surprise, time in nature. It just is my go-to. It always is. And I think it's because there's so much beauty really being reborn, right? I get to walk in these areas, these parks near my home, and all the different colors of the wildflowers that are coming out. They pop, and it's not like, "Oh, I haven't seen this before," but at this time, they're fresh, they're new.
And tell us the story about the wildlife encounter you just
I
had.
know, I was gonna go there, I love it. So, I was super excited to share with you, and I will share for all of you listening. So it was around like 4 o'clock. I finished going up to the high peak of the mountain and I'm walking and those wildflowers I was telling you about. I took some videos, some pictures. So you'll probably see that coming up on social media. And I was just walking, smiling in the moment. And out of nowhere comes this fox. He ran down the mountainside, stopped, looked at me, I looked at him, I was a little shocked, I was a little bit like, "Should I be nervous? Oh my god, I've never seen a fox before, this is exciting." And then he turned and he, like, did his little, like, trot down the paved path towards, where cars are parked, where there's kittens, where there's people. I'm like, "Oh, good luck, people."
And what did the fox say?
He said, "Girl, you keep doing you. You listen to that intuition. You go after those things that you've been wanting to do because you know me. I did look up the symbolism.
Yeah,
The fox is all about, if you see a fox, is strengthening your own inner knowing, your own intuition.
fantastic, Mr.
I
Fox.
mean, I have chills because I was up at one of my favorite places, Tinta, riding. It's a beautiful lookout space. You could see the Acropolis from there. It's a restaurant. I got a little cappuccino. I was writing, and I was just in a flow state. I was writing all these great ideas of things projects I want to start working on. And so it was so wild to me to come down and to see that where it's like, hello, punctuation. Like, yeah, this is what you should be doing.
A small affirmation from the universe.
Mm, mm.
You're in the right place at the right time.
And yeah, the symbolism, we could always make meaning out of anything, but that's in this season where I find so much magic. And I really can't tell people enough the power of getting rid of your devices. Put it in your pocket. Doesn't mean you don't walk without it, but not having earbuds in and just taking in the environment. It can be boring, I know, but if you stop and you pay attention on purpose, and really open your senses, you start to see things that are just like the subtle things that are just so like, wow, look at that. There's life over there. That butterfly is really dancing. And what that could do to our insides and our mental health, our emotional health, our breath, our respiratory, start to breathe a little bit more fully that we hadn't before. And there's just a real empowerment around that. And I just think of so much of the world and what we take in, and so often, it's not by choice. We're
Mhm.
bombarded by so many things, sounds, smells, news, like, all that stuff, but, like, if we are conscious of what we take in, it just we could be empowered to make such a difference in our own lives and see things that we might have just rushed past.
That resonates with me because there's something in this season that I'm really trying to work on. I started the beginning of the year, but this idea of recognizing within me what's mine and what belongs to someone else, whether it's energy, an idea, a bias, really trying to work within myself to identify what is authentic to me. And then taking a step further to figure out why I have this. Why is this a part of me? And is it something that I want to keep? Do I feel like it's a reflection of me? That's really something that I'm working on this season.
I can really see how spring kind of has this tuning back in towards intuition. And I think, yeah, to do both of those things you mentioned, you have to get quiet. You have to pay attention on purpose to thoughts. So it makes a lot of sense.
I think too, sometimes this self work that we do ourselves, that we encourage other people to do, I think there is wisdom in doing it in a season where the world is opening up, where
Mm,
life is coming to the surface, versus doing it in a season where everything looks bleak, where outside the trees are bare, there are no Aleppo foxes running around, the butterflies aren't out. To do self work in a season of barrenness can almost make it feel harder. And so being able to leverage the spring and the excitement and the world coming alive, I think is a good balance to digging deep because then you can go wide outside yourself and
Mm,
breathe better if you hit an obstacle within yourself.
that's well said. It's interesting because I notice it differently by intention for myself because it was like we had this month where we were just moving into March and there were signs of like sunshine and like warmth. Oh, spring is coming. And I'm starting to see flowers. And then I was like, no, but we're still in winter. And so I was noticing giving myself more space and time to go internal and to really fully winter as much as I could. But then I could see how, again, there's no right or wrong way, but for some folks that might not, like for you, you said that's not, doesn't feel as comfortable. But now when things are coming alive, there's like a nice counterbalance. There's a supportive container for you so that you can go a little deeper, that you feel like, I don't know whether it's safeness or whether there's a comfort, I guess is a better word for that.
Yeah. Winter, I'm like tapping into my inner grizzly bear. I hibernate. I mean, I still do all the things. I'm still working out. Like, I'm still cooking for myself. It's not like I'm slovenly laying on the sofa, but like I hibernate. I want to rest. My body is
Hmm.
telling me rest.
Yes.
And then as spring comes, my energy picks up. The days are getting longer. In the winter, I always realize because I'm working until 7, 8 o'clock at night, I probably don't leave my house once I start work. Once I'm in the house for work midday, I probably don't leave. But because the sun is starting to be out later, life becomes more alive for me. We're eating
Mm,
later, we're doing more things, the weather is warmer. I'm like the earth. I come alive in spring. I am at my peak of excitement in summer, and then fall, I'm resting and settling into myself. And then winter, I just relax. Do you feel like you're doing a good job of nourishing yourself in this season?
I do.
Great. Next question. How are you nourishing yourself outside of being in nature?
Well, now that my shoulder is feeling better, I've added a lot more routines of movement. So, more active yoga, dancing, and using weights. So, being more strong in my body and not feeling like a victim essentially, because I did feel that way for a little bit when I was going through my surgery and recovery. I just feel more empowered. So, also, movement, like, there's no surprise there. The endorphins and the impact that has on my mental health is also moving me more into feeling, I don't know, more possibilities, more vision. I also will say that giving myself space to just have fun and be creative. Months back, I had held a vision board party for us girls as a gathering, and we each did a board, and afterwards, I continued doing a few more boards. And it was just fun. I just was like, there was something there that I just wanted to play with that really had been dormant for a little bit. So that to me felt very nourishing. So the act of creating something with my hands and then now to see them, it's like a nice like reflection back to me.
You bring up a really good point because in this conversation, and I think mostly when we think about seasons, we do think of the 3 month ish period of the year. We can go through longer seasons that aren't defined by a specific time period where we have years that feel heavy or barren or darker. So, like when you were describing about your shoulder pain, I remember watching you go through that and to
Mm.
see you emerge in my mind, as strange as this is, in my mind, it was like I was seeing a baby horse or like a baby giraffe after it's born.
Oh,
And they're really unsteady on their legs for a day or so. And then they start to be braver as they recognize that these little sticks will hold them up. And I feel like you're having that. You're stepping forward bravely and courageously because you have worked to build back the strength. You've worked through this pain, and I'm really happy to see that for you. I'm happy to see you in this season of sunshine. Not that you ever lost that, but I feel like what you have on the inside is now reflected outside for you as well.
Yeah. Yeah. The lights came on a little more brighter for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's good, I think, to recognize that sometimes our seasons will last a little longer than what's reflected in the outside world, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Because eventually, if we purposefully move forward, because you never gave up. That's the thing. You never gave up in all of that. Even though you sometimes, I know, were at your wits' end, you never gave up. And you're seeing all the fruits of that. To echo the gardening, you're seeing the fruits of that labor really come into blossom.
Mm, thank
It's a
you.
beautiful thing.
Yeah. And you got me thinking about because there might be folks right now that are in that place where we're talking about spring and renewal and possibility, and they're just not there. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking about maybe we can share remembering when we don't feel it. Like, how do we bring it or how do we take care of ourselves in that way that we're not making ourselves wrong or we're not hiding away?
Shaming ourselves.
Yeah, or like, "Oh, I'm not good enough because look, I should be here," and it's like I'm not there.
One thing that age has afforded me is the perspective that nothing stays the same. And so when I personally have these periods of, let's call them winter, right? These
Mhm,
periods where I don't feel like I'm making progress. I feel like I'm stuck. I feel like I'm sick. There's something that isn't right
mhm.
within me. Age and experience have taught me that this too shall end. And so I know if I trust that experience, I'll get to the end of it. And so just knowing that it won't last forever helps me think, okay, well, what's a tiny thing I can do now during this time to better set myself up for when this does end? It's the idea of pushing through being sick or resting. In my mind, I know we need rest. And if I can rest, even if it's just for a few days, I know when I'm better, I might get there faster versus pushing through. So it's just trying to identify small things for me
Mhm.
that I can do that feel authentic to the emotions I have and the place where I'm at.
I mean, it's funny, right? I always wonder, like, do we rub off on each other, like, different ideas? And I'm like, "My god, I'm watching myself talk to myself," meaning that you brought up mindfulness at the beginning of this episode, and so much of what you're speaking to are principles of mindfulness, recognizing what's happening right now, remembering that that's just how it is right now. We don't have to like it, but there's a sense of acceptance. Okay, I could accept that this is what it is. I'm naming it. I still don't like it, but this is where I am. And then also, this piece of what helps me, and I heard you say it as well, is like just one thing. I don't need to, it feels overwhelming when there feels like too much to change or too much to be. What is just one thing that I can do? And that just one thing really can kind of jumpstart, or maybe it's just the one thing that's just consistent, the one thing day after day, and then the energy starts to come. So there's this like we have to almost like invite it out. And so just there is something through movement. So does that mean through speech? Does that mean through physical body movement? Does it mean by just getting out of bed and like taking the action you committed to? Whatever it is, it starts getting kind of the energy shift essentially.
One place that I see this reflected so well for me is in working out. Never do I wake up and think, "Oh, yeah, I get to work out today," which I know is sort of, like, ungrateful at the very base level. It's just not something I enjoy, but I have such a good time with this trainer that I have found that 10 minutes in, halfway through, I'm so grateful to be there, and afterward, I feel incredible. I got the endorphins, we've been laughing for the last hour. It is something that even when I'm sick, I'll go. Well, not when I'm really sick, but even if, like, I have a head cold or, like, I'm stuffy, I'll go and I'll say, "Ah, I just don't feel well today," and he'll sort of amend what we have planned just to get me moving. Just
Yeah.
and that always, always makes me feel good.
Shout
So,
out to trainer Alex.
yeah, right? You are the best. I tell him this all the time too, so I feel like he really understands the respect that I have for him. But it's so helpful. And one of the things that I have in my brain, I haven't activated it yet, but one of the things is on the days that I don't see him, just to stretch. Just to stretch in the morning, nothing strenuous. Let's do that. I'm putting that out there. Someone in a month outside of Landra, ask me, have you been stretching? Just someone ask me that. Hold me accountable. Because it's so easy. It's a one small thing.
Yeah. The one thing that's been helping me in that area of movement and like making a commitment to the weights and whatever it is. So, yes, just get started. But this distinction between choosing and deciding. So, choice to me, I'm like, oh, I'm going to choose to do that. There still feels like there's a couple options. Deciding, I don't know if you feel it in the word, is a little more like conviction. Like deciding, there's a path. And so when I've used that word, like I am deciding, and usually it's because I also link it to like a bigger goal. I want to
Yeah.
get stronger. I think, again, being 50, like there's so much talk about weights is so important for our body, but I want to be that mobile person. I want to have good posture. So it's like I'm seeing the vision of the why, which is so helpful to kind of get beyond just today.
Yeah.
But I don't know, choosing versus deciding, see if that has any
I like that.
energetic difference for you.
I really like that. Choosing versus deciding. It's funny as you said that, I started to think of that phrase, the devil you know is better than the devil you don't.
Oh,
Did you grow up? Maybe that's a Southern
no.
thing. I say this a lot in
I know
terms
that
of
Devil in the House of the Rising Sun. That's like a fiddle country song. Oh, it's such a good one.
Do we have to pay royalties for that? Sorry. But maybe it's a Southern phrase, and I use it a lot when we're talking about political candidates.
Say it again.
The devil you know is better than the devil you don't.
Okay.
But to me, it's choice, right? I'm choosing between the lesser of two things, the lesser evil one, the less corrupt one, if we're thinking political candidates. And so when I think of choice, I see it in sort of a very negative context. But to decide on something feels more empowered to me.
Yeah, right? That's what I thought too. The charge of deciding is like, the only way I could describe it is like a oof, okay.
Oof. She's
Yeah.
got her fist and she's making them big.
Right? Coming into the alignment of the body, getting taller, getting stronger. Like, we're making this happen.
Yeah.
That's the energy it feels like to me.
As you're in this season of aligning with the energy that moves you forward, is there anything super exciting on the horizon? Like something you have hopes for on accomplishing or something coming down the pike?
I think for me, it's getting back into my coaching, my writing, more of containers and spaces to bring women together is something I'm really excited about. There's some things I'm working on, but yeah, I'm excited about doing more of that.
It's a good season to do that as well.
Yeah.
I feel like people are seeking guidance and seeking a space in order to better themselves, to find answers. And I know that's something that you and I have sort of been working on, not just within the context of this podcast, but over the past few months, we've been working on this super exciting ebook related to cultivating a life that makes you feel alive. It's full of practical steps to get very clear on what an authentic life looks like. And then it sort of outlines the path you need to follow in order to get there. Super simple, but it's chock full of information that we both have used over the past, and we're super excited to share with everybody.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited just hearing you speak about it because this has been something during the holidays we've been working on. It's been a work in progress, and it's going to be excited when it finally gets birthed this spring.
Yeah, when it sort of blossoms and blooms.
Exactly.
In addition to the ebook, we're also offering live workshops with Landra and I to facilitate community space, to have conversation, to talk through questions, to share our experiences with the topics and the steps that we've put out in the ebook. You'll see more information about it on Instagram, on the website. It's coming very soon, and we're so excited to share it.
Yeah. And the one thing I would say too, so it's like an opportunity to get to know other women from around the world. We have a vision and hope that you guys will cultivate relationships from one another and learn from one another. Yes, you're tuning in, you're hearing a lot of Callie and my experience. We hope that this broadens and your voices too are amplified and you are all flourishing and holding each other up. So, sky's the limit.
Absolutely.
Our hope for you this week is that you take some time and just check in with what is this spring about for you? What are you experiencing this spring? And maybe even bring this conversation to a friend. And we hope that you also nourish yourself.
If you love what we're serving up, please hit the follow button and leave us a 5-star rating. We'd also love if you shared Biscuits and Sunshine with a friend. Send them the link to your favorite podcast episode or invite them to follow us on Instagram at Biscuits and Sunshine, all spelled out. This is Biscuits and Sunshine with Callie and Landra.